Hello, just testing to see whether the audio is coming through. Testing, testing, testing. Hello, is my audio coming through? Just checking if my audio is coming through. Just checking if my audio is coming through. Okay, hello everybody, and I am delighted to be streaming, rather nervously streaming, at the House of Wins at the beginning of the League of Extraordinary Investigators, and here I am with Joe Diamond in Octagon, ready to go. I have it set up here in Octagon. I just wanted to show everybody I've got the Chaos Bag ready to roll. I hope this is coming through all okay at the moment. I'm just checking comments are on. Everything seems to be okay. If you are watching, maybe no one is watching, but please let me know. But I think the sound's coming through fine. Great. Fantastic. Okay, well, I'm going to close and shuffle up the Chaos Bag. Just wanted to make sure everybody could see that I was using the correct Chaos Bag there. I'm also just going to shuffle up my deck and my Hunch deck, and I'll just go into the Encounter deck and shuffle that up as well, and shuffle everything up so everything's nicely shuffled up. I'll shuffle up the Chaos Bag. And that's all. So I think we're ready to roll here. The only thing I'm not 100% sure about is that I know that in the VIP area you can't draw cards and you can't draw resources. Octagon automatically does that. So if the card gets automatically drawn, I'm going to have to shuffle it back in. I hope I remember to do that. The other thing here, you'll notice I've put a Doom here onto Joe Diamond's player. That's just to remind me about the Hunch deck as well. It's very easy to forget the Hunch deck. It's not something that we normally use. So I'm hoping that's okay as well. So here we are. I think we're all ready to roll. I think we can kick off. I might just read out the agenda deck and the act deck. Just I'm sure you've all heard it before, but just helps me to get into the place that we are. The Clover Club. You have entered the Clover Club Casino in search of Dr. Morgan. In search of Dr. Morgan. The club is bustling at this late hour, filled with patrons looking to relax and drink or make it big. You don't appear to be in much danger. Each criminal enemy gains aloof. If an investigator deals damage to a criminal enemy, immediately advance. We won't be doing that, obviously. And beginners like Dr. Morgan. The club is packed. Perhaps someone knows where he is. When you reveal the Chaos token, you may treat that token as if it were any other token in the Chaos Bag. If you do, remember that you have cheated. No. And you can do that once per round if you want. When investigators have collected the requisite number of clues, they must immediately spend them to advance. You don't get a choice here. So I need to get 4 clues. I'm sitting here in La Bella Luna, eating probably a very poorly prepared spaghetti. And there is 1 clue here on the Bella Luna. I can resign if I want, but I'm not planning on doing that. I'm here with my 5 resources. And we're going to draw the various cards now to start the game. The pit boss is obviously in the Clover Club Lounge, pacing around. So that's where he starts, and then we have the Clover Club bar and obviously the Clover Club card room here. Yes, so let's draw our cards now. Let's start with the hunch deck and see what we get. And we get the good old working a hunch, which fast play to discover a clue at your location. So no biggie. I can actually, it's use it or lose it with some of these. So it's whether I want to use it now as a fast play or keep it because it could come very in handy later, because you don't really need the clue at La Bella Luna. So we'll see how we go. And it won't cost me anything to play it either. So let me draw my 5 cards from my hand. And what I really want is, ideally, if I can get Belaine Christopher and Big Cop in the opening hand, that would be very handy. But at least one ally, and also obviously a weapon to kick off would be very, very handy. So let's see how we go. So we get Unexpected Courage, which is always positive. Vicious Blow. Well, a good old Viscous Blow can help with the Pit Boss, but we'll see how we go. Inquiring Mind. Hypochondria, there it is. There's the, there's the weakness that we've all drawn. The Detective Colts 1911, which is in the Joe Diamond deck only, which is rather nice. Slight problem is it's a 2-handed weapon, but you can carry the tools if you do have it. And then finally, and Overpower. So that's the 5. So yeah, really, I've got to be really disciplined here. The only one I really, really want to keep at the moment is the Detective Colts 911. So I'm going to keep those, and I'm going to get rid of the others and draw another 4 cards and hopefully get an ally. 1, 2, magnifying glass, that's good. 3, come on, ally. We did get an ally. Thank goodness. Now, it's always great to have an ally for extra fight, but actually I want to use the ally in the early stages for something different. So hopefully we'll get another ally down the track. So let me put those back into the deck and shuffle those up. And there we go. We are ready to roll here and ready to go. 3 actions here in the Bella Luna. So what are we going to do? So now we can bring out the Detective Colt if we want, which gives us fight, and we get +1 and we deal +1 damage. So it's quite nice. We can also have the magnifying glass out. The problem is if we get a machete or something, we can't have both. But I think and it's also quite expensive at the beginning. So I think the place to start here is let's the first action. I'm going to get myself set up, and I'm going to spend 4. So that's spending the 4, and I'm going to bring out the Detective's Colt 911 with 4 ammo in it. There we go. That's the 4 ammo with the Detective's Colt. Now what we're going to do is, that's our first action for our we can don't really need to bring this out at the moment, the magnifying glass, because we're not really doing that at the moment. So we've still got 2 actions to go. Is that right? 4 ammo. Yep. Okay. So what should we do? I don't want to spend this. I actually might keep it because it might come up again. So what I might do is I might, as a second action, take a resource. And as a third action, the final action, I'm going to draw a card. Well, there we go. So we get Hypochondria. Well, at least we get it early. If you take 1 or more damage, take a direct horror. So we'll be wanting to get rid of that. But there we go. Never draw a card on your last action, as they say. So there we go. I'm sure I'm not the first. Maybe I am, but I'm sure I won't be the last to draw hypochondria. So that's the end of our turn here. So that's so what we did was we brought out the Colt with 4 ammo. That was our first action. For our second action, we gained a resource, and for our third action, we drew hypochondria. Wonderful. So that's the end of our turn in turn 0. Sorry, I'll just move it into turn 1. You'll see here at the top right, it says turn 0. I'm just going to just move forward into turn 1. So here we are. There we are. Investigation phase, turn 1. It hasn't changed anything else on the board state. It won't do that until turn 1 has clicked around. So that's the end of our turn. We'll shuffle back that into the hunch deck. Let's shuffle back in. And we move forward into the enemy phase, and indeed the Pit Club boss moves, the Clover Pit boss moves into the Bella Luna. Don't feel so lonely anymore. It's lovely that he's joined me. Thank you so much. So we move into the upkeep phase, and we get the Vicious Blow. Well, that's going to be handy when we need to take out the Pit Club boss, but not quite at the moment. And of course, he's aloof at the moment because we're in the first agenda. So we move up into the Mythos phase, and there's the first Doom on the Clover Club. So it's now time to see what the encounter deck has for us. And the encounter deck will draw a mobster. So he's here with the Pit Club boss in La Bella Luna. That's fine. So that's a good draw at this time. Indeed. So there we go. So we move into the investigation phase. So I'll put 3 actions on Joe. There we go. 3 actions onto Joe. We will draw from the hunch deck, and this. Did I shuffle up the hunch deck? Let me just check. Shuffles the secondary deck. Yeah, I thought for a second I hadn't shuffled it, but I absolutely did. Thank goodness there's this thing here. Krabby Terror 8 shuffles the secondary deck. So there we go. We get looking hunch again. Wow, that's not happened before, but there you go. Okay, so here we are. So what are we going to do? So for my first action, I'm going to move. Oops. I'm going to move up here into the Clover Club Lounge, flip the Clover Club Lounge. Whilst it is Act 1, it is. The Clover Club Lounge gains discard an ally asset from your hand and gain 2 clues from the token pool. So I'm going to do that. I am going to indeed, for my second action, I'm going to discard the Big Cop. And I get 2 clues from the token pool for that. So we're halfway there. We're halfway to getting our 4 clues. So that was our second action. We can't discard hypochondria yet, unfortunately. We will hopefully get rid of that soon. But what I'm going to do, I don't have the Pit Club boss breathing down my neck, is move into the good old bar, flip the bar. You can spend 2 resources and gain 2 clues and draw 2 cards and remember that you've had a drink. Indeed. So there we go. That's the end of our go. So that was a pretty standard kind of go for the House Always Wins. We moved into the lounge. We threw out an ally. I hope we get another one. And we gained 2 clues in the process. That was our second action. And then for our third action, we moved into the Clover Club bar for a bit of a drink. Yeah. So there we go. That's the end of our turn. Okay, yeah, so we went 1, 2, and then we moved here for 3. Okay, so I think it's time to. So we now move on to the next phase, which is the enemy phase, which of course the boss then moves here to the Clover Club Lounge. The monster doesn't. And then we move into the key phase and we get Inquiring Mind. We've still got this hypochondria on us. A little bit challenging having the hypochondria at this stage, because you kind of want to stay one step of the Clover Club at the moment. So it is a little bit annoying. So I might need to go. I mean, I don't have a massive to soak up, so be a little bit careful about that. So there we go. That's the end of the active phase. So we move into the Mythos phase. There are 2 Doom on Clover Club. Let's see what the counter deck has for us. And so we've got Cursed Blood. Minus 1 skill. Right, I'm building up these things in our threat area at the moment. So that's the end of the Mythos phase. So we move into the investigation phase. We put 3 actions onto Joe. I should have put this back into the Hunch deck and shuffled up the Hunch deck. Apologies, it's sometimes easy to forget, and we'll draw from the Hunch deck. And we get place one of your clues. So we got this unsolved case. Place one of your clues on the location with the highest shroud, removed unsolved case from the game. If unsolved case will be shuffled into your Hunch deck. So here we go. So this is going to cost us 2. The place with the highest shroud, I think, is probably at the moment is the Clover Club bar at the moment as things stand. Yes. So the first, oh my goodness, both of our weaknesses have hit very early here. So our first action is to pay 2, to drop one of the clues here in the Clover Club bar. That's our first action. So we've done this. Place one of your clues on the location with the highest shroud, remove it from the game. Okay. So we've got rid of that. Okay, so what we really need to do is 2 things. Is we need to spend the resources to get more clues, and we need to get this clue through investigation as well. So in a way that helps in a sense, because there's a clue there, we can use Inquiring Mind. So we might use that now because it's a 3 shroud and we are a 4. So this would give us a 7. Well, actually it would give us a 6. That would make us -2 or better. I don't want to bring out the magnifying glass because I want the 2 resources to actually get the clues, because we're going to need to try and get those. I'm hoping we can get all of that done. This is a very, very frustrating start to this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to play Inquiring Mind. So yeah, so our first action was to do that. So our second action is to investigate the Clover Club bar. So we are a 4, we are a 7, but we get a minus skill value. So we're a 7. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so we succeed. We can get rid of this cursed luck, and we get the clue back here. So there we go. That's not the clue. What am I doing? That's not a clue. I just realized I moved the wrong thing. So we get the clue back. That should have been the clue that went onto there, not one of my actions. So we get the clue back onto Joe Diamond. That was our second action. So we lost the clue. We got it back, which means we have 2 clues. So we have 1 action left. And for our third action, we will spend 2 resources. And we get 2 clues. And we gain 2 cards. And we've had a drink. We don't have to worry about drawing cards now because we know that all of our weaknesses are either on the table or... So there we go. So that was our 3 actions this time. So what we did was our first action was to get rid of our weakness, which was to drop the clue on the location, spend 2 and drop the clue on the location with the highest shroud, which was in the Clover Club bar. Thankfully, that was lucky. For our second action, we then successfully investigated at a -1 to get that clue back. And then for our third action, we spent 2 resources and gained 2 clues and got 2 cards and had a drink. But we still have hypochondria on board. So that's the end of our turn. So we've got the 4 clues, and I think I've just realized when you get the 4 clues, you must immediately spend them to advance. So we will do that now. You don't get an opportunity to, I'm wondering, yeah, you don't get an opportunity to wait. So here we go. We flip this card. And it says, after speaking to a number of gamblers and servers, it seems as though Dr. Morgan has had quite a run lately. Instead of cashing out his winnings, he was convinced to double down. He was last seen entering the guarded hall near the back of the card room. Put the set-aside darkened hall into play. If it's agenda 1, discard cards from the top of the deck until it's discarded and store that enemy in the darkened hall. So we will put the darkened hall into play here. Let's put a little mark on it. Let's move that there into play. And we discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a criminal enemy is discarded. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, yes, so a mobster. Okay, so there's a mobster here. Put him at the back. There's a mobster here sitting in the darkened hall. There we go. Just do those. Okay, so there we go. That's the end of our actions. No more clues on those. We've spent the 4 clues. So we're now into Act 2A, Skin Game. Dr. Morgan is somewhere in the private section of the club, where only VIPs and the club's managers are allowed. If you are to find him, you're going to have to sneak or even fight your way in. Only investigators in the VIP area may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. So there we go. All right, so we've got a handful of cards here. We've had our weaknesses. We've still got to get rid of this bloody hypochondria. But anyway, we will move into the enemy phase, and of course the boss moves into the Clover Club area, but he's still aloof at the moment. So we move into the upkeep phase, and here we have the Tooth of Etzli, which is too expensive at the moment for us to use. We don't have any resources at the moment. So then we move into the Mythos phase. There are now 3, so that will flip next time. And the encounter deck gives us a Twist of Fate. Reveal a random token from the Chaos Bag. If you reveal an Elder symbol, nothing happens. If you reveal any other, take a damage, which having hypochondria could be a problem. And it's an even number, so it's fine. If you reveal or a positive number, nothing happens. If you reveal any other number, take a damage. So we do take a damage. And because of hypochondria, if we take one or more damage, we take a horror. Oh dear. Hypochondria is coming to bite us in the bum. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway, let's keep moving. So investigation phase. We work from the hunch deck and we get shortcut. Well, that's kind of handy because we might need that, since we might need to do something with hypochondria. So, because I don't think it would be a good idea for us to keep hypochondria at the moment. Yeah. So I'm going to add 3 actions here. Here we are with the wonderful, lovely Pit Club boss. Hello. So I think what we're going to do here, because the thing about this is that, you know, shortcut may not come up. There's only one in this hunch deck. So sometimes it's a bit of a use it or lose it sort of situation. So what I'm going to do is my first action. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 2 actions and get rid of hypochondria. I don't want it anymore. Then I'm going to use the fast play shortcut. I'm going to move into the oops. Hello. Oh boy. Oh, can't seem to click onto it. Oh dear. This is really frustrating. Come on. Oh, there we go. So I'll move into the quickly move into the Clove Club card room. Flip the card. And for my third action, I will simply move into the. Do I want to do that? Because I think. Yeah, so I could evade him, or I could just shoot him. So, but I've got this manual dexterity, so I'd rather get some distance between me and the boss rather than risking it any other way. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So in that turn, we got rid of our hypochondria. We moved into the Clover Club card room, and then we fast moved into the darkened hall. So we can flip that. There we go. There's the darkened hall. Put the set aside back hall doorway locations into play. So that's these ones. I'm just gonna shuffle them. They're all hidden anyway. I don't know which is which. I've shuffled them a couple of times. I'm just going to put them here. 1, 2, 3. 3 of them are just here. Don't know which is which. Let's put the path markers. Should we use? Probably just a short path, I would have thought there. There. Yeah, that was make that diagonal. I don't know. Really, just leave it like that. That's fine. Okay, just move that up. There we go. There's the 3 path markers to the 3 different areas right there. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. So we move into the enemy phase, and the Pit Club boss moves here into the card room. In the enemy phase, we then move into and we get Malign Christopher. Now we get Malign Christopher. Unfortunately, well, we might have enough resources in a couple of turns, but not right at the moment. So, yeah, okay. So we're probably going to have to chuck something out now. So that's the end of our upkeep phase. So we move into the mythos phase. There are now 4 on here, so this flips. And your questioning has drawn the attention of several men, hired thugs by the look of them. Francis doesn't want to be bothered, one of them says. We suggest you leave these premises before we forced you to leave. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. All right, shuffle into the encounter deck. Yep, done. If the players have completed extracurricular activity, no. If the house always wins is the first scenario in the campaign, advance to agenda 2A. Okay, so we're here, which means he is no longer aloof. So he's honors. Most of the other patrons seem oblivious to the mobsters and goons closing in around you, but you recognize this for what it really is. You're about to get roughed up. There we go. So we are about to get roughed up, but I think we'll be okay. At least I hope we're going to be okay. So yeah, so let's see what the encounter deck has for us. The encounter deck has Twist of Fate again. So we reveal a token. Token is 0, which is an even. If you reveal a symbol or a positive number. Is 0 a positive number? I don't know. I guess it's not a negative number, is it? Okay, I'm going to assume that 0 is a positive number. Maybe I don't know. Is it a positive number? Let me just check here. What's it called? Twist of Fate. Twist of Fate. Drawing a 0. Drawing a 0 in Arkham Horror. According to Board Game Geek, I'm going to assume it's an even number. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be. Let's see what Arkham DB says about it. Sorry about this. I've just never had an issue where I've drawn a 0 before. 0 is not a positive nor a negative number, hence the lack of plus or minus symbol on the token. It is therefore any other number. Okay, it is any other number. I'm going to assume it's any other number then. So I'm going to take another damage for it. There we go. All right, that's the safest thing. That's the kind of worst outcome. So I'm going to assume that. Thank goodness I got rid of the hypochondria. So there we go. So that was the mythos phase. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know why, but it's one of those things where I don't think I've ever drawn. I've ever drawn a 0 before. Isn't that strange? But anyway, okay. So that's the end of the mythos phase. So we move into the investigation phase. So we can put 3 actions onto Joe, and the first thing we've got to do is deal, of course, with this mobster here, who is a 2/2/2. So I think we just go ahead and I think we just shoot him. So we spend 1 ammo, we fight. So we're going to shoot him in the face. So we're going to spend 1 ammo, we're going to fight. So we get +1 and we deal +1 damage. So that means we are a 5 versus a 2. I'm liking them odds. I don't think we need to throw anything else in at the moment. So 5 versus 2, and if we succeed, he dies. Chaos Bag gives us +1, so he is dead. go. That's our first turn. So we shoot the mobster. Oh, we don't mess around. So there we go. For our second action, what should we do? I think we'll just move into obviously one of these areas, and we'll move into the bottom one. There we go. Who knows? And we get the VIP area. So while you're at the VIP area, you cannot draw cards nor gain resources. And I just realized I forgot to draw from the deck, but I wouldn't have used it anyway. Choose a humanoid enemy, test 3. Yeah, I wouldn't have used it anyway, but sorry, I forgot, even though I've got the Doom on here. So this has a clue on it. So while you're in the VIP area, you cannot draw cards and you cannot gain resources. So we need 2 resources in the VIP area. So that's, I mean, we've got plenty of cards. It would be nice to draw some more resources, if nothing else, to maybe get out Malign Christopher. But it's not the end of the world, to be honest. It's just that the game is going to start giving us cards and resources. During the upkeep phase. So I just need to remember that it's going to automatically give me a card. I'm not sure if I can stop that. So what I'm going to do is I'll reshuffle the card back into the deck in that way. So I think so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1, and I'm going to bring out the magnifying glass, which is a fast action. And let's go ahead and investigate the VIP area. So what we have here is we are a 4/5. We are a 5 to investigate here. A 5 versus a 3. Do we commit anything else to it? I wonder. Well, I could throw in Malign Christopher, I suppose. Am I really going to? Problem is, it's going to be very hard to. You know what? I think I'm probably left it a little bit late. Using Malign Christopher at the moment, so I think I'm going to commit him to this draw as well. So that gives us a 4, 5, 6 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a -1. So we succeed, and we get the clue, and we get a victory point in the VIP area. So that's our final action. So there we go. We'll put that hunch back into the hunch deck and shuffle up the hunch deck. So in that turn, we killed was it a mobster? Yeah, we killed a mobster in the Darkened Hall. We then moved and we actually found the VIP area. And then for our third action, we whipped out the magnifying glass and we found the clue, which gives us a victory point. Probably we didn't need the VIP area just yet. But anyway, that's the way it goes. So that's our turn finished with. So we move into the enemy phase. The boss moves into the Darkened Hall. So we'll need to deal with him next time. So we will be looking to take him out pretty darn fast next time. That's the end of the enemy phase. Now this is where it's going to happen. Let me try and turn off the upkeep phase and see what happens. So what happens when I do that? It moves straight into the Mythos phase. So I didn't draw. Oh, that was good. So that was good. I didn't realize you could do that. So I turned off the upkeep phase, and what it did was it bypassed the upkeep phase and moved straight into the Mythos phase. So I didn't draw a card, and I didn't draw a resource. So that was very handy. Didn't realize you could do that. So there we go. So we're now in the Mythos phase. So it's got 3 turns here. Let's see what the encounter deck has. The encounter deck has place 1 doom on each criminal enemy at your location. If no doom was placed by this effect, lose 2 resources. Okay. Well, there are no criminal enemies at the location. I can't lose 2 resources, but I can lose 1 resource. So I'm assuming that you just lose a resource. Okay, that's all right. Not the end of the world. I'm glad I didn't keep Malign Christopher. So there we go. That's the end of the Mythos phase. So we are now moving into the investigation phase. So let's draw from hunch deck, and the hunch deck gives us working a hunch, which right now is completely useless. Anyway, it's really coming up at the most inopportune times, but anyway, that's all right. So what are we going to do now? Well, I think the main thing is to get rid of this Clover Club boss while we can. We put 3 actions on us. So I think it's time to take this dude out. Yeah, so so first action, we'll move back into the darkened hall. So the Clover Club pit boss engages us. Then for our second action, we're going to shoot him in the face. So that gives us a 5. Just realised I didn't use the other thing, which was to, if this attack defeats an enemy, you move an insight event from your discard pile to the bottom of your hunch deck, which I probably would have chosen shortcut. But if I defeat, I'll leave it now. But if I defeat the pit club boss, I'll do that. I forgot about that. So anyway, we're spending an ammo. We're fighting. We are a 5 versus a 3. Well, I'm going to make that a 6 versus a 3. I'm going to make that a 6 versus a 3. Do we boost it up any further? Probably not, because we've got to fight him again. So I'm going to make it a 6 versus a 3. Chaos Bag gives me a -4. I don't believe it. Okay. So we will do it again. We will shoot him again for our final round, and we will use Overpower. So that gives us a 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 versus a 3. Chaos Bag gives us a skull, which is a -2. So that's a success. So we do 2 points of damage to the Clover Pit Club boss, and we draw a card. We get another magnifying glass. So there we go. That's the end of our turn. That was a little bit frustrating. I'll put that back into the hunch deck. Having some real challenges with this round. But so basically, we moved into the darkened hall. We then shot at the pit club boss and missed, then we shot again and succeeded and did 2 points of damage to the boss. So then if we move into the enemy phase, he indeed does 2 points of damage to us. So that's 4 damage. And I've just realized we could turn that back on again. There we go. Yep. So he's done another 2 points of damage to us. Still okay. And then we move into the upkeep phase. Yes, good. We get 45 automatic. Phew, because we're gonna use up our Colt 911 next time. So that's the end of the upkeep phase. We're in turn 6, so we move into turn 7 into the Mythos phase. Let's see what the encounter deck has for us, and another thug. Well, looks like we're going to be fighting a little bit longer than we thought. There we go. So that's the end of the Mythos phase. Does he do anything particular? Engage that you cannot gain resources. Okay. We move into the investigation phase. We put 3 actions onto Joe. So our first action is, of course, to finish off this hunch deck. Oh, shouldn't do that. Okay, I've got a plan. This deck uses that. You deal +1 damage, and you +1 for each clue on you. Well, that's kind of handy because that's actually a really handy card to get right now. That's really good. So anyway, things first. So our first action is to shoot the pit boss again. So we shoot the pit boss. He is a 3. We are a 4, 5. We are a 5. I think we make that a 7. I don't want to fail this. We can. So that's a 3 versus a 4, 5, 6, 7. Chaos Bag gives. Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So in that case, I will do my second action. I will spend 1, and I will use. I've got a plan, so I'm going to use intellect to deal the damage. So in this case, we are a 4 intellect. Let's make that a 5 intellect. So that's a 5 versus a 3. And if we do that, we will do 2 points of damage. So 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. So we succeed, and because we have a clue on us, we do 2 damage, and that's the Clover Pit boss dead. So there's a victory point there. Goodness. So there we go. Use that. And the reason we spent 1 is because it ended at -2. So there we go. So our third action, I think we probably try Evade of Banyan's Thug, I would have thought, because not really got much left in the fight department. We are a 2 fight. So I think there we go. So I think for action, we look to evade the thug. So we will use manual dexterity to do that. So that gives us a 4 versus a 2. So we need a -2 or better. Chaos Bag gives us a skull, which is a -2. So that's a success. We draw a card. Inquiring Mind. He's exhausted, so he doesn't do any damage to us at the moment. So there we go. That was I'm having quite a little bit of a challenge here in this game. Yeah, it's been quite a challenge all around. So we've had all our weaknesses -4, and then we drew an auto fail, but that's all right. We're okay. We've got 2 victory points, so it's all good. We're still fine, but things have not gone quite according to plan so far. Yeah. So okay. So let's move on to the enemy phase, where the enemy is exhausted and then the enemy is back. But yeah, we get a manual dexterity, so that means we can do that. Now we can't gain resources while he's engaged with me. So in the myth, yes. So we shouldn't have gained that resource. So let's get rid of that resource. We're in the mythos phase, so this flips. You hear a crash from somewhere outside and screams of pain in the lounge. A terrible monstrosity smashes through the entrance to the club, crushing the stairwell and knocking over gangsters and patrons alike. Spawn a random enemy from the set-aside hideous abominations encounter set in the club lounge. So now the hideous abominations are this lot. That's this lot. They're in with the others. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the others, because we are going to put those into the encounter deck anyway. There we go. So I've pulled out all the others. We're going to use those up. So there's these 3. We'll close and shuffle. I'll shuffle it again, and I'm going to draw 1. And so yeah, we get a conglomeration of spheres. So that Club Lounge. There we go. He appears in the Clover Club Lounge. Very nice. So that's that. Shuffle the rest of that encounter set and the striking fear into the so you shuffle everything into here. So we'll shuffle the encounter. Yep, we shuffle those into there. We take these, we put these in here, and we shuffle that up. And we take these, and we take both of these, and we shuffle those up, all into the encounter deck. Lovely. Shuffle, all shuffled up. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Move all investigated and unengaged enemies from La Bella Luna to the Clover Club Lounge. Remove La Bella Luna from the game. Oh, so move any unengaged enemies to the... So he moves to here. Poor bugger. And this is gone. It's gone. It's gone. He's here. Got to feel sorry for this guy. You got to feel sorry for him. Okay. So there we go. So that's gone. So we're now in the final bit here. Amidst the chaos and confusion of the strange abominations attack everyone in the club. Screams echo through the halls, and the blood begins to spray. At the start of each enemy phase, discard each criminal enemy at the same location as the abomination enemy. Okay. So there we go. That's all happened in the Mythos phase. So we now draw an encounter card. An encounter card is called Rotting Remains. Rotting Remains. So we've got a test 3, and for each point we fail by, we take a horror. So we are a willpower of 2. So I'm going to make that a 4. I'm going to make that a 5. So a 5 versus a 3. Oh no, a 6. Sorry, what am I doing? A 6 versus a no 3 5. 5 versus 3. Chaos Bag gives me auto fail. Another auto fail, which means we take 3 points of horror. Dear, it's really a bit rough for Joe. So we're now on 4 horror and 4 damage. So I think the thing is to get this other clue and get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. So we move into the investigation phase. We draw from the hunch deck, and we get which can allow you to draw resources. Exactly what we need right now, but it would be good because the 45 automatic is quite expensive at the moment. Okay, so now we have a choice. Just put 3 action on here. We have here. We could kill this thug. He's quite difficult because he's a 4 fight, and we are a 4 fight, and we're out of fight. So I'm actually thinking right now, until we get the 45 automatic on board, it's probably better to rather than try to fight him. So do bring this out here. So we are a 2. We are a 4 versus 2 evasion. So our first action to evade. Chaos Bag gives us a -3. Yeah, it's not good. So that failed. I'm really running out of options here. Do we use our 45 automatic? I think we might have to. So for my second action, I'm going to use the 45 automatic to give us a 3/2. Chaos Bag gives us Skull, which is a -2, and we can't spend 2 resources. So that's no good either. So we can try a 2 versus a 2, a straight up 2 versus a 2, or a straight up 2 versus 2, and we get another skull as well. So that was a terrible, terrible, terrible round where we failed every single roll. I have failed so many rolls, I can't remember when. Oh dear. Okay, well that's the end of our turn. So we move into the enemy phase. The enemy does 2 damage to us, so that's 6 damage. And then we move into the upkeep phase. We can't draw a resource. Things are looking, and that goes back in. Shuffles. Okay, we move into the mythos phase, and then we draw from the encounter deck. The encounter deck has 1 doom for each criminal enemy of your location. Yep, so that's another doom. So we move into the investigation phase. We draw from the hunch deck. Again, it's a useless thing from the hunch deck. 3 actions. So I think we've got to just take 3 actions to try and evade 2 versus 2, because we can't afford. If we don't manage to evade, then it's the end for us. I'm not sure what else we can do at this stage, because we could try and fight, but the problem with fighting is we're a 4 versus a 4, which means we would have to succeed twice, whereas at least we've evaded once. So let's go ahead and do it. So the first action, and there's no clues here, so it's not like we can use Inquiring Mind. First action to evade, and we draw a skull, so that's a fail. Second action to evade, we draw an auto fail. The third action to evade, we draw a -2. So I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It is, I can't believe it. I have played this scenario, I don't know how many times, and I don't think I've had quite as much bad luck as I've had here today. So I drew my weaknesses. I drew a number of really bad draws on a number of occasions, and I ended up defeated and taking a physical trauma. Still, that's the way the Investigator games works. We got 2 victory points from the process. It's not the way I would have hoped things would have gone. It's not usually the way things go for me when I play this. But anyway, I'm sure we're all going to have scenarios where things don't quite go according to plan. So if anybody watching, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I should also say I'm really delighted that all the people who are playing really enjoying watching other people's games. And I'm really delighted that people are playing in this league. So until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.